When a man is in his 20s, it almost feels like the golden age. I mean, when you think about the greatest cartoons, the greatest movies, it's always the original. It's always the early seasons where you don't know where the show is gonna go, but it just has this life to it. It has this energy to it, and you feel like the show can kind of go where you need it to be. Well, that's essentially when a man is in his 20s. This is a time when you're in your physical prime. Women think that you're probably the most attractive. You don't have a receding hairline like LeBron or Michael Jordan. Essentially, you have ultimate energy. It feels like you can be out, do whatever you need to do till 2, 3 o'clock and then wake up at 7:30. This is also the time where there's not really much expectation. When you're 20, 21 going on a date, you don't have this woman asking you, when are you gonna give me an allowance? $400, $500 a month. You don't have your family expecting you to have it all together. You don't have your mom asking you, where's my grandbaby? When are you gonna settle down and have children? Because you don't really have any expectations at this time. And if you're a guy and you have a mindset to go out and explore the world, you pretty much have your whole life ahead of you. But when you turn 30, the switch flips. I just flipped the switch, and now people are looking at your life and they have a certain amount of expectations. If you have family, if you have friends, they're always asking, when are you gonna settle down and have that special girl? When are you gonna, mature and make sure you have kids? Not only that, but your body's starting to creep up. You got different ailments, you got different pains. If you used to be an athlete, you start to have the knee where it keeps popping out of place, your back is a little bit more stiff. And during this time and age, all the things that you were doing in your 20s when you were building up that foundation for your house, they're starting to come back. If you weren't good with money, your ass is in debt. And you start to realize, like, bro, the back end of my life, which is the 40s, 50s, and 60s, is almost identical to when I was a little kid, to when I was a teenager, and when I was in my early 20s. And a lot of men start to realize, like, I don't know what I was doing, but now my life is starting to reflect. Because in your 20s, you had the ability to go out there and make decisions. And if you fucked up, you had about 2 decades to kind of get it back in order. But now when you turn 30, it's like, I gotta really decide and I gotta be really smart and have a lot of discernment, because if I don't, man, I don't know what's gonna happen with my life. So in today's video, man, I want you guys to really just meditate on what I'm telling you, because I'm gonna give you guys the 8 things that every man should know about himself when he turns 30. And look, I'm not one of these dudes, one of these hyper alpha dudes saying, if you don't have a wife by 30, you're a loser. If you don't have a brand new car, you're a loser. Because I don't play by society's expectation. And when you're a man who goes from a pawn's mindset where you're always in fear, wondering what people think about you and how they're gonna judge you, and when you learn how to have king domain over your own life where you don't have expectations, you really don't give a shit what age you end up hitting this, because you understand that your life is completely different from the next man. But I understand that a lot of men do not have a guide. They do not have a standard that they live by. So this is some of the things that I want you guys to understand that I found out about myself by the time I turned 30, because I'm actually turning 30 tomorrow. I might post this on my birthday, because I'm gonna be a 30-year-old man. I feel ancient, but I want you guys to understand these 8 things that you should know about yourself by the time you turn 30. So the first thing you need to know about yourself is, who are you? When you're in that 20s age, when you're in that late teens age, you're trying to fit in. You've seen stuff online, you've seen certain videos, you've seen the cool dudes at school, and you oftentimes feel like you need to imitate them. If you're a dude who likes to be by yourself, you're trying to force yourself in a crowd, you're trying to force yourself to go to clubs, you're trying to be extremely social. But you're gonna start to understand that you're either gonna be somebody who loves to be by himself, or you're gonna wanna love to be around certain people. You're gonna be a guy who likes to just chill and be in nature, or you may be a guy who just likes to go to the club, likes to go to the bars. But in your 20s, you should have a good understanding on who you are. Because when you're 20s and you're trying to play a role, it's at least a little bit understandable. Man, he's young, he's just trying to figure out who he is. So by this age, you should know who you are. Me, I'm an introvert. Me, I'm a creative. Me, I like to be by myself, and I like to have peace of mind. So I'm not gonna try to be somebody that I'm not, because I've already tried it and realized that it wasn't for me. Now, the second thing that you should understand by the time you're 30 is what you want out of life. What type of lifestyle do you want? A lot of guys really want to have a family. A lot of guys want to have children. A lot of guys want to be around, the people that they know and love, and They just want to stay settled in their own city. Some guys want to be able to travel. Me, I want to be able to explore this world. So I've built a lifestyle where I can have a lot of freedom attached to it, where I'm not bogged down by a family, by children, by all these different financial responsibilities, because I want to constantly be on the move. This is something that as you guys start to find different mentors, you start to find different peers or people who are living a life that you want, you start to realize like, I want to go in that direction and I want to align my life with that specific type of vision. Once you start dating and figuring out the type of women you like, you're going to be able to see what type of personalities that you mesh with. Instead of trying to force a fit that isn't there, you should have a certain amount of life experience, relationship experience, friendship experience to know the type of dynamics that you want in a relationship or in a friendship. A lot of you guys go through hell, and I literally mean this. You go through hell because you're trying to force a square peg into a round circle, when at the end of the day, if you were created to be a square, if you were created to be a circle, stop trying to force some shit that ain't there. When you're young, you want to force things because you have a certain level of expectation. But when you get older, you done had friends, you done lost friends, you done had women, you done lost women, you done had jobs, you done lost jobs, that you can just look at it and be like, man, I'm good where I'm at. When you understand this, you gain a lot of peace and a lot of freedom that the vast majority of men never get, because they're trying to force themselves into what society and other people expect them to be by the time they get to a certain age. Now, the third thing, and this is kind of stacking on top of it, is you should have a vision for where you want to go. Why are you on this earth? I literally made a video the other day about don't forget the soul. Don't forget the burning passion, the fire that the Most High put within you that's unique from all the other souls on this earth, that there are 7.235 billion people. What makes you unique? What is your specific purpose in this movie that we live called life? You guys should have asked yourself those deep questions, because you're going to be challenged by this. You're going to have certain moments in life where you feel like you're not going where you want to go. You feel like you had a dream, you had a creation that you wanted to get to, and maybe life circumstances caused you to not be able to pursue it. Or maybe you did pursue it and it didn't work out because you had a certain financial obligation. You had to take care of certain things that you weren't able to fully build the mission that you want in life. But by the time you're 30, you should start asking yourself these deeper questions like, what is my real role? What is my legacy? And how can I go to achieving it? And you should have at least tried it. Or if you still haven't tried it, you've still been afraid. When you hit 30, you start to realize that life is passing you by. And the things that I said I wanted to do when I was 18, 22, 25, 28, you need to put your tires on the road, run down that pavement. Go down to it, because you have a greater purpose in life, and you should at least have a somewhat finite idea on what you want to do with it. Now, the fourth thing that you should know by the time you're 30 is how to survive in life. Because again, you need money, you need protection, you need knowledge, and you need understanding of this world that you're living in. You've probably been through certain levels of adversity, and you had to figure out different ways to make money, different skills, different conversation or personality types that you molded yourself in to be able to survive. And here's an example, right? Me, I'm kind of scrawny. I'm not the biggest dude, so I can't just sit here and act like I'm King Gorilla and that I can overpower and intimidate people with my size. I had to learn to be personable to get what I wanted. I had to learn to have certain social skills and use my voice to be able to make a living, because I didn't want to go to college and I chose not to. So now if I'm ever in a bad situation, if the things that I needed or planned in my life don't work, I have a skill that I can rely on. And more than just that skill, I've lived through certain situations where I've gone and hit rock bottom, and I had to pull myself out. I had to claw myself in through iron-willed resiliency that allowed me to get out of it. And those skills kind of morphed and forged you into the type of man that you're going to be. So I'm sure you guys have probably been through hard times by this point in your life. You should be able to really hone in on those skills and use those skills to be able to survive, to be able to adapt, and if you're blessed enough, to be able to thrive in life. You don't want to be a dude who's still living under your mama's titty by the time you're 30 because you're too afraid to go out there and live life as a man, when going through experiences is what makes the man. It's not about an age, but it's about your life experiences that you have. Now, the fifth thing that you want to know is who's on your flank. Who's fighting with you in this battle called life, as an ally or as a foe? Because you guys have probably been around a certain amount of family members, a certain amount of coworkers. You probably tested friends in high school and college, And you probably realize that a lot of people just weren't shit. And you probably relied on them and they let you down. And you're just like, damn. But I guarantee you in that time, you probably found brothers, solid brothers who have been there for you in the good and in the bad. So regardless of what may be happening around you, you have some solid connections that you know that you can rely on, but you also scoping the battlefield and seeing the enemies, whether that's people in your family, whether that might be your wife or your baby mother. It could be certain people around you, maybe even your parents, who have been holding you back, who have been toxic, and who have stifled your growth. And now you should have enough understanding on your life and the people within it that you know who's on your side, that you can continue to grow with them, and who's against you. So now you know to separate from them. If you're 30 years old, still falling for the same traps and allowing other people to bog you down, it's probably because you're not gaining any wisdom or experience, or you know what I'm telling you is the truth, but you haven't grabbed your balls so that way you can cut those people off that you needed to. Now, the sixth thing, and I just gotta admit this because none of us are perfect, is you need to know what your weaknesses are. You need to know what your demons are. You need to know what vices you have and how they destroy you. And you need to run, Forrest, run, Forrest, run. Me, that was lust. Lust has been around since I've been 14, 15 years old, and it's been extremely hard for me to overcome. So I know that I have to keep myself away from certain situations, otherwise I may destroy myself. A lot of you guys may be addicted to alcohol. A lot of you guys may be lazy bastards. You love your comfort zone. And when you find that you can, get away from those things, you're super productive. But you notice when you fall back into them, you keep going back to the old weak bitch you. So you guys have to be very honest with yourself and look inside and stop thinking that you're this perfect dude. I don't know how you could be a perfect dude. You watch me on this camera right now. Stop thinking that you're this perfect dude and understand and be authentic with yourself that you have weaknesses as a man. And if you have weaknesses as a man, try to build a lifestyle that can prevent you from going to your weaknesses, because it's much easier to lean in on your strength as compared to trying to, improve your weaknesses. Not saying that you shouldn't do that. You obviously should increase your self-control if you're a porn addict or a drug addict or you're lazy. But at the end of the day, you might have to change your environment and have people around you motivate you and get you out of the things that have been holding you back your entire life. Because if not, you're going to allow the same things that defeated you when you were 21, 22, 23 to keep defeating you when you're 31, 32, 35. And why would you live in a cycle compared to trying to improve and make changes so you don't have to go through the same bullshit that you've been going through for the last decade? Now, the seventh thing that you should know is, what do you stand for? If you call yourself a man, men have codes. I have a code that might be different from you. One of the main things that I told myself throughout my life is I'll never give up. And that's what forged iron will resiliency. I have certain convictions in my life and certain standards that I have in my life that nobody can cross. If you cross it, I don't got time to deal with you. Like example, I don't got time for bullshit. If you're somebody who's causing me bullshit and headaches, I cut you off. Like not even on no like ill will shit. I just don't got time for it because I've been living my life when I was a kid dealing with this chaos and all this turmoil, that when I got older and I found peace, and I love how sweet peace felt and tasted in my spirit, I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to go back to that. So I have a code where I don't tolerate certain things. I don't give up on certain things because that's just kind of what I believe in. Obviously, I believe in the Bible and I have convictions on that as well, but I'm just using this as an example. A man should have a code. He should have a conviction that he follows. And if you have children or if you have other people learning from you, you could actually share it with them so they could adopt some of your code or they could learn how to create their own, man. And the eighth thing is that you should know the path for how you can create wealth. And I'm not just talking about financial wealth like money, but it could be physical wealth. It could be mental wealth. It could be social wealth. What are the things that give you riches and really help you in those time periods? When you get to a certain age, you should be able to have certain replicable models that you can start to build and grow and scale. Because when you turn 30, you don't have a lot of those lifelines that you did when you're 18, 20. Your parents aren't just gonna co-sign you for a car. Your parents aren't just gonna let you live in their house until you're 30 years old. You're gonna have to learn how to build certain systems and models to be able to allow you to be more self-sustaining. And when you do decide that you want a child, when you want a serious woman, a wife, whatever y'all decide you want to do in your life, You have a system that can allow you to get money, that can allow you to maintain your body, that can allow you to maintain your peace of mind so you don't go fucking sane. And that way you understand that you're on your path. Because I'm gonna be honest, I was talking great about the 20s, but most men say in their 30s, they've really hit not only just they have that strong physical grown man strength, but mentally they're all here. So they feel like they've aligned on both sides of the spectrum, that now when they go out and do certain things, they've become grounded as a man because that foundation has taken deep root, and now they've really built a house that they can stand on. So when you're in your 30s, you're not gonna have as many financial problems. You're not gonna have as many fitting in problems. You're not gonna be dealing with the same amount of insecurities, the same amount of lust and vices that had a grasp on you for your entire life. Now you've overcome some of those demons. Now you've slayed some of those dragons, and you've won those battles that now you feel like the tide is turning and you can really start to enjoy your life. Whether you have $1 million, $1,000, whether you have 2 wives, 1 wife, 3 kids, no kids, as long as you have this system, you as a man will be in a much better place than the vast majority of men all around you. So I hope this video helped you guys. Again, there is no set time frame on when you need to discover these things just because you turn 30 or 35. But understand that you do need some of these things in order to guide you, so that way you understand you're on the right path. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below some of the things you feel a man should know when he's 30. And if you're new, make sure y'all subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.